To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. So I've been analyzing the sun for the last few days. Well, Carolyn and I both have. Even though I trimmed all this up here last winter, I don't have enough sun still yet. So to explain, over here I've got sun coming up in the east, and then the sun sets in the west. So in the wintertime, did you hear that? That's the second rooster. So we got red and then we got white. We put little bands around their feet. For a while now, the red one has been crowing. Well, now the white band one is learning how to crow. So now then the wintertime, the sun is far down into the south. As it travels through the summer, or through the spring I should say, it gets further to the north. We've been doing really good. We've been getting sunlight all day long. So sun pops up over this around 9:30, and then sets over here well into 7 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock. But now that it's traveled further north, we're getting where the sun is starting to get blocked out by these trees here. I'm trying to get us as much sun as possible for Carolyn's garden this year and our solar panels. Which brings me to a subject real quick. So I want to digress for a minute. I watched a video about this prepper. He said we're going to have to expect some electrical outages. And he was concerned about his air conditioner. Here you'll see I have an air conditioner on our camper. We used this last summer and we ran it off the solar panels during the hottest part of the day. Well, now we're putting the little baby chickens in here, and I've trimmed up all these trees. This thing gets really hot inside without a fan or anything, so the chickens are outside all day, and then about 6 o'clock at night I put them away. It's hot in there. It's 10, 15 degrees hotter in there than it is outside. So I run the air conditioner off the solar panels just to cool it down from the 95 down to 72. I don't know, it takes 15, 20 minutes. So the other thing that's being affected by the sun being up north is the solar panels. So we got the garden and the solar panels being affected right now. So we got to get that cleaned up a little bit. So what I got here, some, I think either ash, I'm betting it's ash tree, and probably a oak tree. And these are just little saplings. A few years ago, if you look at Google Maps, this was all cleared out. So this is only growing up in the last probably 20, 25 years. But this ash, man, that's hard to split. So this ash, and just clear up some of this. Now next winter, I'm gonna clear up all this so we can grow corn down there. I've said that before. So the corn, I got this big field that I wanna use for corn, but obviously all the trees are covering everything. So we'll get that cleaned up this winter. But I just wanna kinda keep pushing this back a little bit at a time. My concern is well, three things actually. Getting further into this brush in here. So you got the poison ivy you got to worry about, and as I can see maybe right now leaves of 3, leave it be, that's probably poison ivy right there. You got to get a shower right after. Now what I've noticed is if you use Dawn dishwashing soap right after you touch poison ivy, that Dawn dishwashing soap removes the oil pretty good. Poison ivy has oil in it, and that's what the reaction is from. Although I don't see any poison ivy berries. Over here we have poison ivy berries already popping up, so that may not be poison ivy, but could be poison oak, who knows what it is. So I got to get these out, but then but I also got to worry about copperheads, and I have all this brush right over here right next to where I'm going to be working, so I got to worry about the copperheads. So I'm not going to go too far back. I think I'm going to get these two. I think that's ash. Got an oak or two over here that I might get, and that'll be used for firewood. Now you shouldn't really cut trees in the springtime, summertime. You should wait until all the leaves are off the trees, because then the moisture that's feeding the leaves is out of the tree, so it's easier to dry. But I'm not going to burn this for a couple years, so it's plenty of time to dry. First time I've used the lawnmower, cut down trees or do any chainsaw work. So this is going to really make things easier. Instead of pulling that little wagon around like I did last year, I'll be able to load this up, take the wood back up, move my chainsaws around. This is going to come in real handy. Gives me a little bench that I can use to fill my gas. When I take the truck out somewhere to cut trees, I got that tailgate as a bench, so this is going to be real nice. So I got two chainsaws. I got a little 14-inch chainsaw, got it from Home Depot. This thing has been really a superb chainsaw. But I always use my smallest chainsaw. I got a 14-inch, which is this one, and an 18-inch. It's safer to run the smallest chainsaw that you can on a job. It helps prevent kickback. When you're cutting and you hit a surface, say you hit this surface right here, the chainsaw is going to come back and hit you. At 45 miles an hour is what I've heard the chain runs at. So 45 miles an hour, it comes back and hits you in the head and cuts your head open. You're cutting a real small limb and you're hanging over the limb large distances like that. That's more to have to watch out for. My 18-inch is 4 inches longer than this one. That's 4 more inches I got to watch for. I use cheap chainsaws like this. That's my grandpa's philosophy. You can buy 10 chainsaws cheap like this one for the same price you can buy a steel. And if one chainsaw dies on you, even out in the woods, let's say you hit the rocks and your chain goes dull, you just grab another chainsaw. But if you got a $1,000 chainsaw, you're out there sharpening it, or worse yet, if one breaks down, throw it away, get your next chainsaw. Whereas with a steel, you're gonna be down until it gets fixed. I don't know if it's a good philosophy, but I like it. I'm just cheap. So I'm gonna put some gas and oil in this. Now, for those that don't operate chainsaws, it's a 2-cycle engine, so it has oil in the gasoline. You have to put 2-cycle engine oil in the gasoline. It's called a mix. And then you put oil in the other spot here, not to run the engine, but to lubricate the chain. Now I'm going to go ahead and wedge this tree, even though it's real small. You should wedge everything, because that way you have no risk of a tree falling back on you. Just for safety's sake, a lot of people I've seen on YouTube videos, YouTube fail videos, they won't put the wedge on there, and then it pinches the saw and they're fighting it, and then the saw kicks back on them. And the nice thing about these small trees is I don't have to split them. There's firewood there, but no splitting required. I love these kind of trees. I cut these all day. I've learned that it's really nice to practice on small trees on how to land a tree to get it to go where you want it to go. So I'm going to cut this tree up into little pieces, get it loaded into the wagon, and then move on to the next one. So I was telling you I couldn't see any red berries from the poison ivy. It's because they're not red yet. They're green. So yeah, I'm gonna have to watch out for that. I'm already in it, so it's too late now. So I'll get a shower as soon as I get done here. I'll have to make sure that Carolyn knows that my clothes have poison ivy on it. That way we can use a stick and different things to get it out of the laundry basket. I'll keep it separated. So I thought I'd come down here, now that I got poison ivy all over me, and show you what the red berries look like when they're ripe on poison ivy. And so right there, hopefully you can see that. It's down here pretty shaded. But that's red berries for poison ivy. Now, something I want to mention about all this stuff. Living your dream. What about snakes? What about poison ivy? What about ticks? I'm terrified of snakes. I've said it many times, and I'm not even a coward to say it. Copperheads, I hate them. I've had a run-in with them every year of my life nearly. The reason I can do what I'm doing out here, knowing there's copperheads out here, is I've educated myself about them. Yeah, they bite the most people, but rarely does anybody die from them. Easily taken care of. Same thing with poison ivy. It's just a terrible thing. But educate yourself. When you think you've been in poison ivy, get into a shower right after and wash down with Dawn dishwashing soap, and then wash up with your regular soap. So I'm going to load up the little wagon with the firewood that I've got collected here. I did get the 3 trees down that I wanted to get down. Got that one back there and these two, and that'll give us more sunlight throughout the day. So getting a few days of firewood in a couple hours, I feel like I have a really productive day that I wouldn't have done if I hadn't educated myself on poison ivy. As soon as I saw the 3 leaves, I thought, uh-oh, you know, we're in trouble. And then I talked myself out of it. I didn't see the red berries. You went through the whole process with me. And so I didn't see any red berries, and I went on my business. Got it down and I saw the green berries. I'd have been terrified. Oh my goodness, what are we gonna do? How do you get this off? But I know that now all I gotta do is get a shower, use Dawn dishwashing soap, and I'll be fine. And I've seen this a lot in my life where people will talk themselves out of living their dream or doing something great because they're afraid. They find a reason why they can't do it. And I'm not saying that fear is bad. You gotta have some fear, but you got to be able to respect it and understand it. As long as you educate yourself, the fear is still there, but you can respect the problem. I hope I can inspire you to understand your fear so you can live your dream. Thanks for watching.